Hey everyone, it's been a year since I was able to get a Sony PlayStation 5. It's strange to think how difficult it still is for people around the world to get one of these systems, even a year later. In fact, mine's the only PS5 I've ever seen in real life. I've never seen another one ever. Though interestingly, I've seen Xbox Series S consoles on store shelves every now and then. No X's though. Speaking of the Xbox Series X, I've got one of those too. I bought that at the beginning of 2021 as part of the all-access bundle thing, which here in Canada happened to be a bit cheaper than just getting the Xbox and Game Pass Ultimate separately, but that's another topic, and also another video. Today, let's go back to the main topic of this video, which is, how do I find the PS5 1 year into ownership? I'll answer that, but before my impressions kick off, I do want to mention that this isn't like a full review, like with features and specifications of the console. It's more about how I used the console over the year. And also that's the reason why some of the footage you see is not all 4K. There's also 1080p stuff mixed in here and there. So how do I like the PS5? Well, I don't dislike it. I don't think there's a console I don't like. I'm someone who's into console hardware because I find the subject interesting. So even a total flop is still an interesting item. But I guess the point is that I didn't buy a PS5 just to add to the collection. If that's all I wanted, then I'd wait until it's old and cheap. Right now, it needs to fulfill various criteria. It's going to be one of my primary systems, and it also is. I want to play the newest games and also have a graphical and performance upgrade over the PS4. My computer is also at a point where it's partially upgraded. Everything is quite up to date except for the graphics card, which is a leftover from my last setup. So I want the PS5 to allow me to play next-gen games with all the 4K HDR ray tracing goodness until I find an opportunity to upgrade the graphics card down the road. Another reason I bought a PS5 is that it's kind of like a PS4 Pro when it comes to playing PS4 games. I have a launch model PS4, so seeing an upgrade in graphics and performance sounds like a great thing with the games I already have. Not to mention the lack of noise sounds like a great thing. And the last reason for a PS5 is because I make videos about gaming, so I don't want to miss out on games that would do well being covered on the channel. Because of the YouTube thing, I have basically two perspectives. For doing videos, it's great, because I get to cover PS5 games as well as cover differences between PS5 and PS4 versions, or I can just show you how a PS4 only game performs on a PS5 compared to how it would look on the regular PS5. Or sorry, PS4 I mean. Games also look better, so that in turn makes the videos look better. Other little advantages are that I like the controller of the PS5 more, loading times are a bit quicker, that sort of thing. So even with PS4 games, I'm getting a bit of a quality of life increase over just using a PS4. There's also been a couple of PS5 games I've reviewed as well, like Neptunia Reverse and Atelier Ryza 2. In terms of just being someone who plays games, not counting the whole YouTube thing, the PS5 and this current console generation illustrates why I used to jump in around the middle of the life cycle, rather than, buy at launch or close to launch. That's how I usually did things before doing YouTube. The reason is that once you're several years in, games are plentiful, there's usually a decent hardware revision that makes consoles not sound like an airplane, and not to mention that there's usually things here and there for sale, so yeah, it ends up being more cost effective or cost efficient, all while the console still having years of its life left. Currently, the PS5 doesn't really have that many exclusive games that interest me. Games that interest me are available for the PS4 usually, and also other systems. This whole dual-gen release seems to be much more common currently than it was with previous generations. That also means that game development isn't fully focused on this generation, and therefore that creates a sort of limbo effect where developers sit in between two generations. So I think we're still not seeing what the PS5 can really do. Well, that's not unique to the PlayStation. I think a lot of this is down to the chip shortage, and, this applies to the Xbox X and S as well. Consoles can't be manufactured in volumes required, so despite the demand for them, the barrier of entry into 9th gen consoles is high. And that's why developers aren't exactly keen on throwing all of their efforts into a system a lot of people don't have yet, despite consumers having the desire and money to do so. Because of that, I don't really have many PS5 games at all. My gaming PC is handling things quite well still, I'm surprised. I like keyboard and mouse controls more anyway, plus I know that once I update my graphics card, or upgraded rather. All those games will run and look better than they do on the PS5 anyway. Currently, the only PS5 game I've been playing at length was Call of Duty Cold War, though I'm currently playing Vanguard on PC, so that's not something I touch that often anymore. But there's been some other PS5 or PS5 versions of games here and there that I've been playing over the last 12 months. But mainly currently, like right now, I'm still waiting for stuff to come out. Like Gran Turismo, that's a really big one. Undoubtedly, there's going to be several Japanese games that'll come out over the years too. Despite all that, I'm decently pleased with the PS5. The controller feels excellent and the variable triggers are great. And Call of Duty Cold War was a lot of fun switching around weapons based on feel. I already mentioned that the games look good. And yeah, old PS4 games are fun to replay because a lot of them finally run at a steady 60 FPS. Then there's all the 4K HDR and ray tracing stuff, which is all new to me. It's nice to experience that sort of thing, and things will only look better as time goes on. There's also the fact that there's games I get for a local multiplayer like, FIFA, NHL, or the Formula 1 games. So with those games, it was, the graphical improvements there have been noticeable, and that's been quite fun overall. Let me think of some other random points of the PS5 that I find interesting. Well, I guess the whole storage expansion thing is a topic, isn't it? The Ps5 ships with 625 gigabytes, which isn't massive, considering how big some of the games are. And it also took Sony quite a while before they unlocked the NVMe thingy, but, thankfully that's an option now. Because I don't have that many PS5 games, it's not really an issue. I put my PS4 games on an external drive, and that seems to work out fine, even with loading times. It's just a normal, regular mechanical hard drive, but whatever. But yeah, I don't know why it took them so long to unlock the storage upgrade thing. Like, what could possibly have been the holdup? This isn't exactly new technology. While this isn't really a Xbox PlayStation comparison video, there is something that works way better on the PS5 compared to how things are with the Xbox, and that is recording gameplay footage. Normally, I don't utilize a console's built-in recording function. I use a capture device for reviews, for example, but the PS5 does allow me to easily capture footage retroactively. If something interesting happens and I'm not, I don't have my Elgato game capture thing hooked up or whatever, I can still get that footage pretty easily. I can just hit the share button, choose how far I want to go back in time with my recording, and then I've got it. Then I just use the wonders of USB to transfer it to my computer. The Xbox really doesn't work that way, and if I have something recorded, I can't just transfer it to a USB drive. I would have to set up a USB drive specifically for video capture, and then there's like a minimum size that it needs to be, and that's just not great. Why not just allow people to copy the footage you've got onto a USB drive? That's not difficult. In terms of multimedia stuff like DVDs, Blu-ray, and streaming, I tend not to use the PS5 for those purposes. If I do anything like that, I use the Xbox Series X, but there's no real reason why, I guess. Both consoles are connected to the same TV, they both do Blu-ray, and all that stuff, and they support the streaming services I use. But then I realized it's actually because the Xbox can play CDs and the PS5 doesn't, so I guess I automatically default to the Xbox for non-gaming things because of that. I don't think that's going to be an issue for most people, but hey, occasionally I want to throw an audio CD in there, and the Xbox does that. But yeah, I guess currently I'm mainly happy with the PS5 right now. If I didn't do YouTube, I would probably be, I wouldn't be that enthusiastic overall, and I'd most likely end up getting it a couple of years down the road. But since it's a useful tool for the channel, I can justify having gotten it early on. Thankfully, it doesn't have any horrific flaws like being super loud. In fact, it's near silent, so I don't think it'll leave me wanting for a refresh once one comes out eventually. I did reference the Xbox Series X in the video several times. What did I think of that? Well, you can probably tell I've got similar opinions on that, but it's still a different console, and there's some unique topics that I want to mention in regards to the Xbox. It does have, after all, the whole Game Pass thing. In the next month or two is when I'll have had it for a year, so I'll report to you my opinions then. So that's that. Let me know what you think. Since I last talked about the PS5, I'm sure some of you have gotten PS5s as well, or maybe Xboxes. So yeah, I'd be interested in hearing how other people's experiences have been so far in regards to these next gen consoles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.